Sahana bhavatu Sahano bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. In Kathopanishad, Yamadharmaraja tells Nachiketa, walking the spiritual path is like walking on a sharpened razor's edge. This is just to drive home a point that a little distraction and you are cut. You meet with an accident. So it has to be a very focused effort. Whenever we lose focus, accidents happen. Shurasya dhara nishita duratyaya durgam patastat kavayo vadanti, he says. The ones who have walked this path earlier, the wise ones, the kavaya, they have told that walking on this path is like walking on a razor's edge. And not just any razor, a very sharp razor's edge. So when you walk on that, if you lose your balance, if you're distracted even for a moment, and if your attention is scattered, you would hurt yourself, harm yourself, cut yourself, meet with an accident. Every time we forget that we are not the body and the mind, and all this that is going around us is just an illusion, a drama, and get engaged and involved and attached, the cut happens. And that is what is all the conflict in the world about. Because they don't remember who they are, so they keep fighting with each other. Whether it is in family, it is in a community, it's in an organization, or in the country or the world. Now everybody is not willing to walk this path also, as Krishna says, not everybody is willing to walk this path because they are very happy, settled in their lower ideas of life and living. And even if you try to explain to them that there is something higher, they are not interested. They are too very busy making merry by engaging with the world and enjoying those lower pleasures of life. So it is difficult for them to even understand. Even if you say it won't make any sense to them. But those at least who have got this fortune of understanding that there is something greater that lies ahead, who seem to say that yes, I want to learn, seek, and I want to grow in spirituality, who seem to have taken to this path with some sincerity and some courage. Now it is up to them to walk this path without getting distracted. And distractions do not mean some very large, big issue that will happen in your life, only then you will get dissuaded or distracted. No, small things matter. Somebody said something to you, and you immediately identified yourself with the body and the mind, and therefore it became hurtful. You are distracted, you have cut yourself and hurt yourself. You are doing something very sincerely, it does not meet with the success that you expected it to have. It turns to be some other way. Immediately this idea of doership, enjoyership kicks in, saying that I was doing and I must have enjoyed good results, and you are cut. You bleed. Or finally, when sickness and death arrives, of yours or your loved ones, and then you forget that we were just bodies like waves in the ocean, and we had to one day merge back in the ocean, and you become so overcome with grief and loss, or with fear and anxiety of your own death, you are cut again and you bleed. Because these are all the times when you have forgotten who you truly are. And that is the reason why all the conflict, misery, anxiety, fight, all that happens in the world, inside and outside, this is the reason. So remembering one's true nature all the time, that is why we say when you breathe, every time you are breathing in and breathing out, the breath is saying Soham. And that's a mantra. Mananatrayateti mantra. That which redeems you because of contemplating on it is mantra. Mananat trayate. So when you breathe in, you say so hum. So the sound of breathing in, and hum, the sound of breathing out. So hum, I am that, I am that, I am that. That is why I said in between all the activities, when the mind has to be busy, body has to be engaged, if you find a few moments of poise, just focus on your breath. Say so hum, that I am that, I am that. Every little opportunity that you get in a busy day, in a hectic schedule, use that to immediately get back to the idea that I am that, I am that, I am that. And keep doing that over and over again till it becomes your second nature, and then eventually it becomes your very nature. Right now, our very nature is not the idea of Soham. We are living in a different world, different idea that we are the body and the mind, and everything else that is needed to take care of it is what needs to be done. But beyond that, whenever you get even a moment or two, just sit down and just repeat to yourself, Soham, Soham. Just focus on your breath. That's why I said every 1 hour, if you put an alarm and that tells you, okay, it's time. So you take a minute off and do this breathing or do this mantra japa. Just take that time off. Every time you do it for 1 minute, it will make sure that the next 1 hour is spent in better way. It's worth its while. But every time we don't do it, especially when we are emotionally vulnerable, in those situations, the first thing we should do is focus on breath. In those situations when we forget to remember who we are, that is when it gets worse. But in that moment, the catch is that in that moment, you should be able to remember this truth. When your mind is getting swayed by emotions, it's getting captivated by the distractions, it's getting imprisoned by the desires, that is the moment you should immediately get back to that Soham mantra. Just focus on breath. That 1 minute practice will ensure that the rest of the minutes of the day are spent well. But we are so busy doing the next thing and the next thing and the next thing that we postpone our prayers and meditations all the time. You see, even in general, whatever happens, if you have a very busy day, what gets sacrificed? Or who gets sacrificed in the busy day? Work and money does not get sacrificed because money is the outcome, that is what you're working for, or promotion, recognition, whatever you're working for. Then you want to do the work, that also doesn't get sacrificed. All the good things get sacrificed. Like sometimes food gets sacrificed. Oh, I don't have time to eat, so I just rush to work. What else gets sacrificed? I don't have time to bath, also gets sacrificed, I know. Then what else gets sacrificed? Prayers get sacrificed. Meditation gets sacrificed. What does not get sacrificed? Sleep and the work. These two we don't want to sacrifice. Because sleep is tamoguna and work is rajoguna. Tamas and rajas we don't want to sacrifice. Sattvic things we want to sacrifice. What is sattvic? Prayers, meditation is important. So we will try to adjust God into our schedule. We will tell God, I don't have time today, forgive me, I have to go, I have a meeting. Or God, I don't have time today, I have to immediately rush, I have got an emergency. I always ask, if you keep God as your last priority, you will also be on the last priority of God. Who make God their first priority, they become the first priority of God too. When God calls, we should be there. Everything else can be dropped. Because we expect the same from God. When we call God, we expect God to respond then and there, immediately, without delay. But when it comes to God and He is calling, we do not respond on time. We give excuses. I'll come back to you. Anyway, you are there, I know. And then we give all these excuses of, you are anyway our father, mother, you are understanding. My boss is not going to understand, you will understand. My wife is not going to understand, you will understand. So please, you adjust. When Gajendra Moksha was happening and Gajendra cried out to Vishnu, Vishnu ran, and Potana describes it so beautifully in his own Potana Bhagavat. But the poetry of it, that it seems when he ran to rescue the Gajendra, Lakshmi Devi was pressing his feet and his shawl got stuck in Lakshmi Devi's bangles. And as he rushed, Lakshmi Devi is running behind because she was also caught in that. He didn't even care to look around whether Lakshmi is there, who is there, not there. When Gajendra cried out Narayana, he immediately rescued. He rushed to his rescue. When Draupadi called out to Krishna, he came to her rescue. Like that, how many times we have been rescued? But when God calls us, I have a business meeting to attend, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you later in the day. I'll see you in the evening. We keep postponing. One morning we don't have time, we'll say, I'll see you in the afternoon. In the afternoon, again, we are busy with something. We say, when I get back in the evening, I will see you. And then evening gets over, it's night, I'm so tired, I'll definitely see you in the morning. And again, the cycle repeats. Who gets sacrificed in our whole busy life? Only God. God means all these good practices get sacrificed. When I keep telling people, please ensure that you are spending that 15-20 minutes with God all by yourself. Are you doing it on a daily basis? No. Attending Suprabhatam as a collective prayer is one thing. That's a part of the discipline. Evening prayers coming to Premamritam is a part of discipline. In between that, if you find that 15 minutes, yes, very good. But then in a chanting Suprabhatam, you are along with everybody. It's very difficult to just be yourself. If you don't chant, then the warden will ask you, why are you not chanting? You will say, no, I am meditating on the self. He said, no, but this is not the time. This is the time to chant. It's a collective, disciplined ritual that everybody is supposed to follow. If some of the students don't follow, the others will also say, we are also meditating while they will be sleeping. So the warden has to ensure everybody is chanting. That is his duty. So the discipline of the place gets ruined. That's why community prayers are a must. And I've told very clearly, one time everybody must gather together in a community, whoever you are. Most of the time, we who live in ashrams and so to say closer to the Guru or the divine, we take things for granted. Anyway, Guru is compassionate, he will handle it. Anyway, God will wait for us. We can come back again. We are such an important work. We are doing God's work after all. So this is the way we give excuse and we don't follow the disciplines. And that is not nice. That is one part of it. That is community discipline, collective, which is called as yama. There is niyama. There is a personal discipline also that you have to follow. What is personal discipline? Your personal time with divinity, your personal time meditating on a thought like this. And I am so actually very flexible when I say that yes, best time would be the same time every day in the same place would be the best way to meditate, because your body quickly settles, your mind quickly settles because it's used to the surroundings. Like you have an altar, you have a place where you do usually meditate. That's the best, fastest way to get into that state. But if you really don't have, even then throughout the day, find that 1 minute. Now people have apps, they download apps for walking steps. You have to walk a minimum 7,000 steps or something. They have. The moment they say they have not finished that many steps, what do? Suddenly they'll get up and start walking without a reason. And the onlooker will think, what's wrong with this man? He was sitting peacefully, suddenly started pacing up and down. Then he'll say, no, I have not finished my number of steps for the day. We are so cautious. Similarly, water breaks. Now the water alarms are given. You drink water when the alarm rings. Because people have forgotten that they have to drink water and hydrate themselves. Because of that, so many diseases are happening. Kidney and this and that. So now hydrating themselves, they have a water. Medicine alarms are there. So you have to take your regular medicines. Those who take insulin injections or other things, they take medicine also in regular because that is important. But there is no alarm for God. There is no alarm for prayer. There is no alarm for meditation. I have to meditate. I am not saying you meditate in some unearthly hours where your body is not cooperating. But one time fixed during the day, everything else should be sacrificed. That day, everything can be sacrificed. For the sake. So the idea is that some spiritual discipline, if it's not there, all this gyan will be nice. It's like watching a nice movie. Entertainment value. That's all it will be. There won't be any enlightenment. So yes, there are external disciplines as a community, which is a part of the yama, as they say. In that we have, like from the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Sathya, Ahimsa, Asteya, Aparigraha, all these are yama. And niyamas are there which is personal. Shaucha, Santosha, Tapas, Swadhyaya. So these are the values that you have to follow. They're put up there. Now in the external side of the ashram, Sathya, Dharma, Asteya, Aparigraha, Brahmacharya, these are to be followed. You must speak truth, speak sweetly, speak the right things, speak in an obliging way, do not speak untruth. Ahimsa, be kind to each other. Even in thought, do not be violent. Do not hurt, do not harm. Asteya, do not steal. Not just stealing people's things, but even people's credits. So what somebody has done, you must give the due credit to that person. Don't hog their credits. Asteya, aparigraha, do not accumulate. Take only as much as needed. Just because food is free, this is free, that is free, you just don't grab and take more than your requirements. Aparigraha. And brahmacharya, continence. You have to maintain your sanity, your purity, because you are in a community, you have to maintain that. That. Then niyama is there. Shaucha. Shaucha means cleanliness, both external and internal cleanliness. You keep your place clean, your inside clean, your outside clean, your room clean, your gardens clean, your ashram clean. That is important. Don't throw things just like that. So, the civic sense, what we say. Remain clean, pure thoughts, pure words, pure actions, and pure surroundings. Santosha is there, which is some sense of contentment. See, not everybody gets everything that they ask for here. But whatever we have received, we must learn to be contented and be happy with it. So, tapas, continuous practice of austerities to realize the self. That is a personal exercise. Outside is a different service and all that, but inside tapas, this is what I am saying. Are we doing tapas? Then swadhyaya, daily study of scriptures. Self-study, not what Paravidya tells you, not when you go to the class. Self-study. Swa-adhyaya, or rather study of yourself. That's also swadhyaya. So it is not about, I went to Paravidya class, I sat 1.5 hours. I went to Ashtavakra class, I sat for 2 hours. So I finished my swadhyaya. No, that is what you have learnt. That is as per parampara. But you on your own, sitting by yourself and revising it, contemplating it, studying it is swadhyaya. Without the guru around. That is swadhyaya. How many of us do swadhyaya? Then Ishvara pranidhana, complete faith in the divine or surrender to the divine. That's an individual thing. So surrender to the divine means no body consciousness, no mind consciousness, only divine consciousness. These are practices which are given as yama, niyama as part of the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. But why I am reminding everybody is that if you don't follow these disciplines, you cannot progress on the spiritual path. Coming for 2 hours, listening to a lecture, going back very happy that about today is done, today's meditation is done because through the lecture I meditated. Today's swadhyaya is done because through the lecture I did some homework. Today's Ishvara Pranidhana done because during that time I was not interested in my body and mind. Today's Sathya, Dharma, whatever ahimsa, everything is done. But the moment you step out, no point. That's why I exactly keep saying that this self-discipline in spiritual path has to be built in and has to be practiced. You cannot sacrifice it for something else. This is very important. God cannot be sacrificed. Everything else can be sacrificed for God. But most of the time God gets sacrificed. That is why we don't progress. Ek pag aage, do pag piche. We go 1 step forward and 2 steps backwards. Because we do not maintain the discipline. We give excuse. Anyway, I was doing seva. That seva itself is sadhana. Bhagavan says seva is the ultimate service, is ultimate. But that will help you only to purify your mind. It won't help you to realize the self. Realization of the self happens when you contemplate on it, when you meditate on it, when you remember it. My question to you is that if you are working in the hospital also, you are serving the poor patient, are you really seeing the patient as the supreme self and you as another supreme self? No. You're still seeing yourself as a servant and the other one as patient. You say, I'm doing it for God, but are you meditating, contemplating, realizing that you're doing it? No. You're not. You're not contemplating that I am the self at that moment. You're contemplating that I am the doctor, or I am the nurse, or I am the attendant, or I am the servant, sevadal. And that is a patient. When a teacher is teaching in the classroom, is he able to think that I am the self, the supreme Brahman, and these are all sitting in front of me are also supreme Brahman? No, we can't, because we are engaging with our body and mind, so we cannot remember the self at that time. Therefore, some time of the day has to be kept aside for these practices. And if you don't follow that discipline, don't blame anybody for not progressing. You are wasting your time. In fact, you are wasting my time also in the process. Because I am teaching the wrong person who is not interested in disciplines. So every time we deviate, we cut ourselves on this path is because we got distracted. We are told this path is like that, like the razor's edge. If you are not attentive, you definitely are going to have a cut. So every time we undergo any misery, a hurt or something is because we have forgotten who we are. Don't look around to blame somebody for your problems. It's because of him, it's because of her that I lost my peace, my balance, my equanimity, my divinity. No, you lost because you are not careful, you are not attentive, you are distracted. So the idea is that whenever we experience any negativity anywhere, it's because we have not done enough spiritual sadhana. It's because we are not disciplined in our spirituality. It is because we have somehow taken God for granted. That somehow, despite not attempting, not effort, putting effort, he will be kind because he's supposed to be kind, he's supposed to be compassionate. And then go and cry to him that, you are anyway supposed to be compassionate, to err is human, to forgive is divine. All these philosophies we fit into this, which is very wrong. You should be honest with God, true with God. You cannot be double faced. You have to be what you are with God. Then God loves you and He'll take care of you and do what is right, including He may scold you, correct you, reprimand you, punish you also, if it is for your good. And you will still take it in a positive spirit because you know God is doing it for your highest welfare, because there is no ego. So that is the idea, that dissolution of body and mind means dissolution of ego identity. With the ego identity, all the negativity gets dissolved. Nothing remains. You say whatever you want. Once somebody was cursing or abusing a saint, and saint was only lifting his hand and blessing those youngsters who were abusing him. Then one onlooker saw and said, "Why are you not shouting back at them?" He said, "They know, they are doing what they do. They know. I am doing what I know. They know only to curse and hurl abuses at good people, and I know only to bless. So I can only give what I have, they can only give what they have." That is the principle. Even if people are not nice, you can still be nice because you only know how to be nice. They don't know how to be nice, that's why they are not nice. But don't find reasons for not being nice because somebody around you is not nice. Then Ashtavakra and all is gone for a toss. Then nothing you have learnt about it. So this is why I tell, unless you contemplate, sit down every day, take that 15-20 minutes off and feel that divinity within, that touch of divinity, that you touch base with yourself. The whole day is going to be a wasted day, a restless day, a day filled with all kinds of ups and downs and negativity. So very important that you please touch base. Second thing, don't come to the hall without being fresh and rested. In the chapter 6, now Janaka's turn to speak. It's a conversation. All of our scriptures are conversational. That makes it very interesting. Question and answers and conversational. So Janaka says, Akashavat anantoham ghatavat prakrutam jagat iti jnanam tathai tasya natyago na graholaya. What did he say? Layam vraja. Last time Ashtavakra says, merge in that divinity and be the self. Layam vraja. All his shlokas ended with Layam vraja. Here he is replying to it. Na tyago na graholaya. There is nothing to accept and nothing to reject. There is no need for me to merge into something else. Because I feel that I am the infinite ocean, Akashvat, Anantoham, infinite, Ghatavat Prakrutam Jagat. And the world is like a pot, Ghatavat, natural. It is natural existence is like a pot. That is our relationship. Like the space, Akasha cannot be captured in a pot, in a vessel. It appears to be bound to the vessel, but the moment you break the pot, the Akasha is free. In fact, space was always free. Before this Premamritam hall came into existence, also space was there. Now, earlier it was called a football ground. Now it is called Premamritam hall. Tomorrow, if we break this and make something else, let's say a hospital, it will be called a hospital. But the idea is that the space which occupied this whole area was always the same. It never got broken, divided, or segregated. It has a continuity. The space in which everything exists is a continuity. Buildings come and go. Like that, last time remember, when pot is there, if you break the pot, the Akasha inside the pot is called Ghatakasha. Outside Akasha is called Chidakasha. In the body, the Akasha is called Bhutakasha. In the mind, the space is called Chittakasha. In the self, the entire space is called Chidakasha. So Akasha is space. So he says, I have realized that the world is like the pot and I am the space, I am not the pot. I am the space which is ever free, though bound apparently in the vessel, in the body, or though bound in the mind of people. Yet I am free. The self is free. So what is there to accept and what is there to reject? Which one should I sacrifice? Which one should I accept? When there was no snake only in the first place in the robe, what should I reject and what should I accept, he's saying. Somebody who saw the snake will have to reject the idea that there is a snake in the robe, or accept the idea that there is no snake in the robe. The one who never saw the snake in the robe, these discussions only don't arise in his mind of accepting or rejecting the presence of snake, because he didn't see the snake only in the first place. I only see the rope, I don't see the snake at all. Likewise saying, I see only myself as the space, I don't see myself as the body, the pot. This and that is one and the same. I don't see the difference anymore. So which one should I leave or sacrifice, and which one should I accept? What should I merge in what? This is how Janaka is replying to Ashtavakra. You are telling, give up your body consciousness and merge your mind into the self and be. He says that I am already that now. I already feel it that way. That I am the Akash, I am not the pot. So pot is only a temporary imprisonment of the space. It appears that the space, if I take a empty pot and cover it with a lid, I think I have captured this much of space inside that. But that is an illusion. So I don't anymore agree to that illusion. I don't even see that illusion. Because I don't even see the illusion, because I don't even see the snake, where is the question of rejecting or accepting that idea? Both are not necessary for me anymore. That is the way he has responded to our Ashtavakra, that I only see Advaita. Advaita Darshanam Jnanam, Bhagavan used to say. True knowledge is to see only oneness, not duality. And Dvaita Moolam Dukkham, they say. All the dukkha is because of Dvaita, or Dvaita is the reason for all the dukkha. When we see two, then we become scared. When we see something other than ourselves, then we have this problem. But we see everything as us, there is the problem. When finger hits the eye, by chance, do you punish the finger? You cannot. Why? Because you say, oh, this is my finger, by chance, by mistake it has happened. That oneness has come. So where is the conflict? Whom should I punish and whom should I reward? No need, because it is one and the same. When your tongue gets bitten by teeth, when you're eating or chatting and eating together, suddenly we bite our tongue. It bleeds, it hurts. But we don't punish the teeth, right? If you go and tell, please remove all my teeth. Why? Because my teeth are biting my tongue. Then the doctor will tell, don't come to a dental hospital, go to mental hospital. That is where you should. Can't you understand the teeth are also yours and tongue is also yours? If you don't understand, you are a fool. That's why you go to mental hospital. This is what a guru would tell. Somebody comes and says, she did this to me, he did that to me, they are like this, they are not like that. I tell you, go to mental hospital, because you are seeing the differences. Your finger hurt your eye, you have forgiven your finger. Your teeth bit your tongue, you have forgiven your teeth. Yet you cannot forgive each other. Why? Because you see them as different. Yamadharma says, Mrutyum samrutyum apnoti ya iha nana eva pashyati. They go from death to death who see things as different than themselves. Death to death. He doesn't say, at least Shankaracharya says birth to birth. Yama says death to that, because their birth is a waste any which ways. So they die and again they die. Again they die. Why? Because they don't live at all. They live a stupid life which should not even counted as being lived. It's a wasted life because they've not realized the truth. So that life is a waste. Why should I count it in? So he says, Mrityusam mrityum apnoti. Death to death they attain. Why? Because they have lived their life in a wasteful way. They have not understood the truth still before dying. So they just die and then they again die. Then again they die. This is what he says. He doesn't even count their life as a life lived. It is a wasted effort, so he doesn't count it in. Like if in the manufacturing some parts go waste, we don't count them in. We discard them. Like that he says that life itself is to be counted as a waste because they have not realized the truth of oneness and they're seeing things differently, and that's why they are always at conflict. So mrityu samrityu, they just die and again they die, and third time again and fourth time again. They go on dying continuously because they haven't seen the truth. Yadin viha tad amutra. Yad amutra tadan viha, he says. What is here is there. What is there is here. The one who does not see like this goes from death to death, he says. The idea is that if you don't realize the self, this is how gods think of us. That you wasted a lifetime. All things are good. You achieved, you became a rich man, popular man, whatever. All things is a waste at the end if you have not realized God. It doesn't count at all in the final analysis. So that is the idea. Janaka is able to see oneness. So he's developed that large-heartedness, broad-mindedness, because he sees oneness now. He doesn't see two. So there is no question of rejecting the wrong, accepting the right. There is no question in punishing the wrongdoers and rewarding the right doers. Or there is no question of thinking this person is a sinner or that person is a saint. Everything he is able to see it in the same light of the self. That is what he is telling. The next sloka, 6.2, it says, Maho dadhi rivaham sa prapancho vichi sannibhi iti jnanam tathai tasya na tyago na graholayah. In the same tone he says, there is nothing to reject, nothing to accept. Why? Because I am the great ocean. Maho dadihi means the great ocean, Mahadadihi. And what does he say? That great ocean iva aham sa prapancho, and that world that you see, vichi sannibihi, it is like the waves in this ocean. I am that great ocean, or in me is that great ocean of consciousness, and the world that seems to appear in this consciousness is merely like the waves that rise and fall. Vichi sannibihi. What else is happening? Iti jnanam tatha etasya. When you know this is the truth, then where is the need for you to reject or accept this? When I have already identified myself as the ocean of consciousness, and I see the world as mere waves that rise and fall, where is my question of rejecting the waves or accepting the waves? Rejecting the world or accepting the world? Because I already see through the truth of everything. I am the ocean, I am not the wave. So I do not identify myself anymore with the body or the mind. I identify myself with the consciousness. So there is the question of me accepting or rejecting anything. He is actually replying back to Ashtavakra, who kept on saying, reject the world and accept the self and be in that state of self. And he's saying, I don't need to, because I don't see it anymore as two different things. I see it as just one. I see myself as the ocean. Then he goes to the next one, next shloka 6.3, because this is all we have studied earlier, so I'm just going fast. Aham sa shukti sankasho rupyavad vishwakalpana iti jnanam tathai tasya na tyago na grahalayah. It says, I am like the mother of pearl, shukti sankasha, the shell, and rupyavad vishwakalpana, and the world is an imagination in that shell, like silver is imagined in the shell. It appears to be having some silver because it shines in the sun, but when you go close, it is only a shell, it is not silver. Likewise, this world appears to be real in me, but I am not confused about it anymore. And this is the jnana that I have already received. I have understood this. Therefore, there is no need for me to accept the silver or reject the shell. Because I know there was no silver in the first place. There was always this shell only. Likewise, there is no need for me to accept the world or reject the world and accept the self. Because I am the self. There was only self. There was no world in the first place. This I have understood with complete Upanishad, Nishchayatmaka Buddhi, they say. With complete conviction, I have understood this one part, that I am the self only. And everything else is just mere apparitions, illusions, appearances. And they are not real. So there is nothing to reject and accept. This is what he says. Vishwa Kalpana. Vishwa is the Kalpana or imagination. It is nothing more than imagination, he says. I thought I'll stop and tell you a nice story from how this Kalpana of Vishwa is. The world, how it is imagined in the self. Sri Rama, when he was a young boy, he was a disciple of Vashishta. Even the great beings like Sri Rama, who are avatars, they also went to a guru's ashram, studied the scriptures, learned the truths. Because they must do that. Yadyada charati shreshtaha. They have to follow the right path. Only then others will follow. If Rama says, I am an avatar, so I am not going to follow going to school or something like that, others will also not follow. Though they are not avatars, yet they will take this excuse. As I said, somebody who is really doing meditation and not attending bhajans might be really doing it. But somebody who is not wanting to attend bhajans now will take that as an excuse. Likewise, Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrugna, everybody went to Vasishta's ashram studied. So Vashishta was teaching the knowledge of the self. It's called Yoga Vashishta. It's a beautiful book. It's a purely Advaitic, where he's teaching the knowledge of the self to Sri Rama. And Rama says, this whole world is useless then, because everything is illusion. About that, Vashishta tells a story that once a little boy asked his nanny, the caretaker, the nurse, please tell me a bedtime story, like children ask. And the nanny told this beautiful story. The story is, it seems in a city that never existed, there lived three princes. Asatpura, he says. Asatpura is the name of the city, means it is false. It does not exist. Shunya, it's a void, it's a vacuum. In a city called Asatpura, where nothing exists, three princes lived, it seems. They were very bold and brave and happy. But two of them were never born and third was never conceived. This is the second part. But they lived happily, it seems. After some time, all their relatives had passed away. They were bored. They wanted to go and find another place to live. So they set out on a journey. But it was so hot, their soft skin, their bodies were scorched in the hot sun, and their feet were bruised by the tip of the blades of the grass. And they were very disturbed and troubled, and there was dust and wind, and they were very tired. They wanted something to eat. They came across 3 trees, out of which 2 were never planted and 1 never had a seed. But they ate the fruits nevertheless of all the trees, and they felt rested under their shades. And after some time, they were continued their journey. Noontime, they reached the confluence of 3 rivers. 2 of them did not have water, and 1 was dry. And they had bath in the river, enjoyed some time, refreshed themselves, drank water, quenched their thirst, and continued their journey. And then they reached a new place where a lot of beautiful flags were flying, like lotuses in the azure blue sky, like pond. And they entered that city which was yet to be built. And there they found 3 mansions. 2 of them were not built, and 1 did not have foundation and walls. They entered the 3rd mansion, and there where they were hungry. So they found 3 pots. 2 broke the moment they touched them, and the 3rd one became a powder. They used the 3rd pot to cook rice. They found 99 minus 1 grains of rice to cook. And they cooked the rice, and they invited 3 guests. 2 did not have body, and 1 did not have mouth. And when the one who did not have mouth ate all the rice, 100 grains of rice, 100 dronas they call, 100 whatever grams or kgs. He ate all the rice basically. They never cooked 100 grams, but he ate 100 grams. Then whatever the leftover was there, these 3 brothers who were gluttons, they ate to their fill. And they lived in these 2 houses that never existed, and one which did not have foundation and walls, for happily. And after some more time, they wanted to go search for another city, another house, and they set out on another journey. This is the story Vasishtha tells Rama. This is the world. There is a significance. Nobody tells a story like that, right? The significance is that the 3 princes are body, mind, and Jivatma. Body, mind do not exist. They are never born. It's an illusion. Illusion is not born. And Jivatma, which we think is a part of Paramatma born, it is not born from the womb any which ways, it says. It was never conceived. That's an illusion. Like in a pot of water, if sunlight is sun is shining, you will see a sun inside the pot of water also. You break the pot disappears, water disappears, sun also disappears. But actually sun did not disappear. It was never there in the pot in the first place. Likewise, the body is the pot, mind is the water, and the reflection of the sun is the Jiva Prajna, what we call as individual consciousness. All 3 are illusions. They don't exist. And where they were existing before? Nowhere. Were they existing before they were born in a city? No. Were they born in a city? No. There is no time, no space in the self. There is no causation. So they were born like that, it seems. Then what happened? No relatives, because they are all independent. If they don't exist, how will the relatives exist? Then we go searching, then there are 3 trees. One is Dharma, Artha, and 3rd is Kama. Dharma is the tree which does not grow on its own, it has to be planted. But if it is never planted by the self. Dharma is something that exists as a principle. So Dharma, Artha, Kama, like that the 3 trees were there, which give you fruits with which you try to satisfy your hunger. But the truth is that, do these fruits really satisfy your hunger? It's hunger of that body which never exists, mind that never exists. So this Dharma, Artha, Kama, all these are illusions basically. This whole life that goes on in doing Dharma, and then Artha means earning wealth, then fulfilling desires, and thinking the desires are satisfying us, all this is illusion. And then they meet the river, 3 gunas, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamo guna, which again is illusion. Some people are nice people, some people are lazy, some people are hardworking, some people are not. All these ideas are also falsities. But nevertheless, the body, mind, and the Jivatma seems to enjoy all these qualities. And then they go to a new place. Lot of flags are there and things like that. These are all our distractions of the world that we think are attracting us, because they are attracted by the flags and go to the city. Like the senses attract us. Then they enter the city, there are 3 mansions, they say, where people are existing. So it says the 3 mansions, of these things are like your three bodies, Sukshma, Stula and Karana, like that, which do not have any basis actually in the self. But nevertheless, we want to enjoy that. Then they made three vessels in which they want to cook. They are like three koshas there. The Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, who do not exist. But Manomaya Kosha, we think we are able to cook food in that. In a sense, we are able to gain something out of this world. So they cook 99 minus 1 grains of rice. It means if 100 years are given, 99 years we spend in imagining things as good, as real, and then they waste time. Maybe 1 year we spend really in understanding God and the truth. It's just symbolic story. And then those three Brahmins who come and appear, they are your childhood, youth, and the old age, who consume all that which you have imagined. And whatever is left is what finally is left for the Jivatma. But there is nothing left because the young childhood and your adulthood and your old age is consumed your body, mind, senses, everything is over. There is nothing left there. And once they are done with that, they want to search for a new city. It means they want to have another birth. They're fed up, done with this birth. Old age has come. Now old age has consumed all their vitality. Now they want to have another birth. So the idea was that how illusory is this world. Vishwa Kalpana, the world that is word used here is. Vishwa is a Kalpana, it's an imagination. Our joys are of imagination, sorrows are imagination. All this body is imagination, mind is imagination. Even the idea that self exists in each one of us as separate entities in imagination. All this imagination excites us so much that we eat the fruits of the trees that are never planted, drink the water of the rivers that were always dry, or live in houses that were never built, or eat food that was never cooked in vessels that never were. This is how this story explains how illusory is this whole samsara. Yet we get so entangled and happy and excited about everything. So he says, in the imagination we live. And in imagination we become rich. In the imagination we become poor, we become happy or sad. But none of it is true at the end. That is what Yoga Vashishta is teaching Rama. Rama, when he hears all these things, he becomes absolutely dispassionate and detached. He says, I don't want to be the king. I don't want this samsara. I don't want anything. I want to renounce everything. When Dasharatha hears that Rama is suddenly behaving like this, he wants to renounce and run away. He doesn't want to be the next king because Dasharatha did so much of yajna to get male children so that he have heirs. But this Rama says, I don't want to be. Then he goes and tells Vashishta, please stop this jnana to Rama. He doesn't become the king, who will run the kingdom? Because Dasharatha is still in ajnana. Then Vashishta enters like a small insect, a bee, into the Rama's nose and wakes him out of this state of reverie that he had gone inside. He was not eating, not talking, not doing anything. He was just aloof to himself because of the Yoga Vashishta. So the question is that why Yoga Vashishta was taught to Rama? Because through him we all learnt. Second thing, what he had to face in life after that. I think Yoga Vashishta gave him all the strength and the necessary thought process, because he had to go through lots of ups and downs throughout his life. And unless he thought of all of it as illusory and imaginary, he could not have been able to deal with it. So Yoga Vashishta was taught early. So why am I teaching Ashtavakra Gita early to all of you? You have a long life ahead as students, as people. And who knows what's coming next? When Rama was not spared of misery, you think you and I will be spared of it? And when such a misery strikes, what should we do? We should live as per the principles, taking it as an illusion, not getting entangled and then getting deviated and cutting ourselves. We shouldn't do that. That is why this knowledge is important. It should be given right in the beginning, not at the end of life. The next shloka 6.4. Aham va sarvabhuteshu sarvabhutanyatho mayi iti jnanam tathaitasya na tyago na graholaya. Again, I am in all the beings. Aham va sarvabhuteshu. Sarvabhutani atho mayi. And all the beings are also in me. What a wonder. Iti jnanam tathaitasya. This is the knowledge. Therefore, there is no need to give up anything or accept anything. Because I am only in everything and everything is in me. As the self, I pervade everything. And everything is nothing but modifications of the self. So they are self only. All the ornaments are gold only. Gold is in everything and everything is in gold. So gold does not have to reject a bangle and accept a chain to be itself. It is itself, whether it is in bangle or in chain. It doesn't matter to the very metal gold. Likewise, I am the self from which everything has emerged. I am in everything. Where is the question of me accepting or rejecting anything? Where is the confusion to me at all? There is no confusion, there is no illusion. I see everything. In Bhagavad Gita Shlok also, I quoted the next page which says, Sarva Bhutastam Atmanam, Sarva Bhutani Chatmani, Ikshate Yogya Yuktatma, Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. Equal vision, Samadarshanaha. Who has that equal vision? Who sees the same thing. All beings are in him and he is in all beings. Such a person who sees this, he is a Yoga Yuktatma. He is established in yoga, his mind is merged in the self. Yoga has happened to such a person. Such a person sees everything as equal. Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. Everything is same, everything is equal. Shunischaiva Shapakecha Pandita Samadarshana, it says. In the dogs and the dog eaters also he sees the same. So this is the idea that Samadarshi becomes equal vision. How? Because he sees everything as himself and everything in himself. There is no separateness for such a person. That person is a jnani. Similarly, one more shloka I have quoted for Ishavasya Upanishad, which says, Yastu sarvani bhutani atmanyeva anupashyati sarva bhuteshu cha atmanam tato na vijugupsate. For such a person, there is no hatred, no negative thinking. Vijugupsa means some kind of aversion. For whom? Who sees that all the beings are Atman only, are self only. And the self exists in all the beings and all beings exist in the self. Such a person is never averse to anything. It means not attracted also to anything. Both ways it does not exist for such a person. He does not hate anybody, he does not love anybody. In the sense he doesn't get attached to anything or anyone. Or does not want to reject anything or anyone because everything he accepts as his own. Like Ravana Maharshi could play with the insects, put them back on his wounds and say, eat my child, eat, because he could feel the oneness with it. That the difference is still there now. This is what the heart of a jnani is. They behave how they behave out of this understanding of oneness. If they do service, they do it because of oneness. They are serving themselves. Bhagavan would say, whomsoever you serve yourself. That is the idea, that we are serving ourselves. Then we don't realize, no, that is the other person, I am the other person. How are we serving ourselves? When Bhagavan would say, you and I are one, oh, we will be all excited because we feel somehow he has elevated us to his status, though we are not deserving. But what did he mean when he said, you and I are one? What did he mean? He meant this, that we are the self. Beyond bodies and minds, we are the same self. But no, we wanted Bhagavan as the body and mind only. To dance around him, sing to him, jump around him, and feel very excited that we are loved by him and we are cared. And then when we lose him, then we cry. What a loss, what a loss. We are abandoned, orphaned, and so on and so forth. But how did he look at us? He looked at us like this. You and I are one. Sarva bhuteshu chatmanam, sarva bhutani chatmani. He did not think of us as different. So for him there was no loss. For him there was no regret, no remorse, no sadness. Because he was here also, he was there also, he is everywhere. This Rupa Nama is the confusion. When you attribute Rupa Nama to the self, then you develop affiliations, attractions, attachments, or aversions, distractions, or whatever other things. But even if God comes, Rupa Nama becomes the issue. It is good. As a Saguna Bhakti, first step is good. But you can't be standing on the first step forever. Then how will you reach the top? When you climb the next step, you have to leave the first step, right? To reach the second step. You can't be on the first step and the second step and the last step also. Not possible. You have to give up one thing to reach the other thing. So you have to give up Saguna Sakara Bhakti to reach the Nirguna Nirakara. So giving up the attachments to bodies and minds. So means then what, we should not do bhakti? You do bhakti with this knowledge, with this understanding that whom are you worshipping? What are you worshipping? And for what purpose are you worshipping? That thinking should get inside you. Blindly worshipping a name or a form will lead to orthodoxy, which lead to extremism, which leads to fanaticism. That is the problem in the whole world right now. My God versus your God. This guru versus that guru. And so much of conflict in the world. The more gurus come into existence, the more I get disturbed. The more gods come into existence, the more I get disturbed. Because now there are more divisions. They'll think my God is better than your God, is better than his God. It will go on and on. Unless they are teaching the principle of oneness, it is a big danger. Bhagavan taught oneness, but we didn't grasp it. Because we were happy. Yes, yes, all that Advaita good, but we are very happy with your name and form. We would like to sit at your feet and stare at your face whole day. He'll say, no. You get up, learn, grow, realize who I am. That is not required. That I don't like. What I like is you give me chocolate every day, give me an interview, give me Pada Namaskar, and give me a smile. I'm happy with it. I don't want any jnana and all this. I'm very happy. But that also a prison, a golden prison maybe, not an iron one. That's also a prison of a kind, to be stuck with names and forms. So see self in everything and everything in yourself. That is the only way to redeem oneself of all the limitations, including limitations to a Sagunas Bhakti, which again can become, as I said, over a period of time, a kind of a fanaticism. That also is a danger of not seeing oneness, that you become biased, prejudiced. So when God only I am not sparing, saying that God only should not be seen as different gods, then what will I spare human beings who say, I love her, I love him, I can't live without him, I can't live without her? What should I spare them for? I'm saying God only, I am not rejecting that name and form, I will reject. That is not you. That is the container in which you came. But I am satisfied by drinking the content, not staring at the container. Let me enjoy the content, not be attached to the container. When we were kids, we had our favorite plates and tumblers and cups. Must be having you also. Blue one is mine, red one is his, yellow is there. You dare not touch my yellow cup. Dare not touch my blue. We'll fight. Even three of us used to fight like that. That plate, that design is mine. I will eat in this. Somebody else sees, that's it. There'll be a war. We're not thinking of the food that we have to eat to satisfy hunger. We are getting stuck with the plates and tumblers. And children fight like that. That spoon, that tumbler, that plate. Especially in a house if you have 3-4 children. Then you know. They all fight. They're all going to eat the same food. But that is not their focus. Their focus is which plate I am going to eat it from. It is my plate. How dare he ate from my plate. That is why all the conflict in the world. That is what Saguna Sakara is. This God is my God. Not interested in the spirituality of Advaita. Interested in the form and name and the attention and all that happens. Who got promoted, who got demoted, who came to the first row, who was relegated to the last row, which student he is talking to, which student he is not talking to, which teacher is getting all attention, which teacher is not getting. This is all the gossip that goes on. We are interested in all this. Why? Because mind is like that. Fly, house fly. House fly. It goes from garbage one day, then the next day it will sit on sweets and savories. And next again revert back to garbage. Like that our mind, one day in gossips, unnecessary talks, unnecessary gossips, talking. Worst thing is talking behind people's back. Bhagavan used to call hypocrisy. He used to be very irritated if he came to know about anybody talking behind anybody's back. He would say, if you have courage, you rather tell it on his face. But don't talk behind people's backs. But people talk. Why? These divisions. They see things differently. So what is their fate? Mrityusam mrityuma apnoti. You will be dragged into hells and heavens or whatever after the worlds afterwards by Yama. And you will go from one death to another. This life is not even counted as having been lived. It's a wasted time. That is how you will be treated in the ultimate analysis. So that is the idea that we see oneness, we are redeemed. We see separation, we are doomed. And if the effort is not to see oneness, we don't put that effort, then we will never grow out of this Maya. We will live like those three princes, you see. Eat imaginary fruits, drink imaginary water, cook imaginary food, enjoy imaginary meals, and then think we are having everything, we have achieved a lot. We have not achieved anything. The next chapter is chapter 7. In that the first sloka says, Janaka is continuing. And this chapter is especially ocean, he's giving the example of the ocean. And that ocean, he says like this, Mayananta maham bodhau, vishwapota itastataha, brahmati swantavatena, na mama asti astahi shrunuta. Which means, Mayananta maham bodhau, I am the infinite, endless ocean. Vishwapoto, and the world is like a ship. Itastataha, it is moving this way, that way, here and there. What is moving? The ship of the world is moving in the ocean that I am. Brahmati Swantavatena. And why this ship is moving? Brahmati, why it is going around? Swantavatena, because of the winds from within. Because the winds, the ship is moving. The sail is set, winds are blowing, and the winds are pushing the ship in whichever direction they are blowing. But I am not disturbed. Na mama asti. It does not happen to me. What? Asahishnuta, impatience or disturbance. I am not disturbed by the movement of the world in me. Is the ocean disturbed by the movement of the ships? Ocean is so big, so many ships are moving every day, every night. They are going their way as per the wind, the ships are going. You think ocean is getting disturbed? Oh, this ship is going, how much noise it is making, it is cutting through the waves, it is disturbing the ocean. No, it doesn't disturb the ocean. The ocean is ocean. In fact, ocean can disturb and topple the ship any moment. But ship cannot make any difference to the ocean. Likewise, this world is moving in me like a ship. How? Driven by the winds. What winds? Some swantavatena, that which comes from within. It means thoughts. Thoughts are the winds. Ship is the jivatma or the identification with this separate existence, which is moving in the ultimate existence. So all the transactions of the world are happening according to your thoughts and desires, which is the wind beneath the sails. And it is moving here and there. Someday good thoughts are coming, someday bad thoughts are coming, someday happy thoughts are coming, someday sad thoughts are coming. And the world is going on, life is going on. But as the ocean of consciousness, I am not disturbed by all these movements. Nor I lose patience for it. Asahishnatam is not able to bear it, not able to accept it, not able to deal with it. No, I am able to deal with it. With all the good, bad, ugly that happens in the world, I am able to deal with it. I am not disturbed by it because I don't identify with that ship. I identify myself with the ocean. And ocean has millions of ships sailing. Ocean doesn't care. It is too big to worry about that. Like if a small fly goes and sits on an elephant, I think elephant feels the weight of the fly. No way. Likewise, I am so large and I am so vishala, I am so infinite that there is nothing that disturbs me. Like a fly sitting on an elephant is not going to disturb an elephant's gait. Like that, I am so big and expansive, infinite. In me, whatever little happens because of the winds, some storms come, some rains come, or the ship moves this way or that way, it doesn't disturb me at all. So imagine how he has quickly picked the whole thing up and has established himself in that idea of self, that nothing is disturbing him now. Even some of those questions of Ashtavakra, pointed ones also doesn't disturb him. He still continues to answer in the same humble way. Imagine our lives. Little something goes wrong, the whole day is gone. And maybe next 3 days are also gone. Can't come out of it, can't recover from it. We keep living in that. Small, big things, everything disturbs us. But Janaka says nothing disturbs me. Yes, ships move. I can't wish them away. No ship should be in the sea. They will be there because that's a part of creation, that's a part of life. You will have relations, you will have activities, you will have good and bad, losses and gains, sorrow and pain and suffering, joy, pleasures, excitement. All these will keep moving because they are driven by the winds. Winds are those thoughts from within. But I am not attached to them, so I am not disturbed by them. Can we ever lead a life like this? Imagine what a glorious life that is. To be able to live like this is such a privilege, such an amazing feeling that even in thought itself it is so amazing. Just to think that such a life exists where you are not disturbed by anything, you are absolutely peaceful and calm. Let the world go by. Such an existence also is there. The very thought itself is so liberating. And that is why our scriptures are so great, because they told that such people existed who lived like this and it is possible for you also. They gave us hope. They encouraged us. And they showed us the path also to tread. Very clearly they explained to us how compassionate these rishis, these jnanis and these scriptures. Like this I have some explanation that you can read it for yourself. I'll go to the next one, which is 7.2. It says, Mayananta mahambodhau jagat vichi swabhavataha udaitu va astamayatu name vriddhir nachakshatihi. I am the great ocean. My Ananta, in me there is that great ocean. He identifies himself with the great ocean. And Jagat Vichi Swabhavata. And the world, this time he identifies as the waves. Last time he told it is like ship. This time he is saying it is like waves. Udetu va astamayatu. It rises and falls in me. What? The world. Like the waves fall and rise in the ocean, the world rises and falls in me. Name vriddhir nachakshatihi. Beautiful idea. I do not increase or decrease because of waves rising and falling. I do not increase or decrease because it does not change my existence. The rising and falling of waves. One right thought that you understood completely can become your life's mantra. Can you become the guiding post can become your North Star, can become your compass, can help you navigate this whole complication of samsara. Anything can be achieved if you have a positive thought. That's why I tell, do not, first of all, do not overthink. Second, if you think positive, don't think negative. These are very important things. Pick up one or two great ideas. Like Swami Vivekananda says, take an idea and make it your everything. Give it your all. Do not confuse with 100 different ideas. Take one and make it your life and to give it your everything. And then you see how it cannot manifest. It will manifest. Even the bad people have become bad, so good at being bad because of following one idea that I want to conquer the world. Hitler or Alexander. They also achieved greatness in their own way. But their idea was wrong. Get the right idea in your mind and work on it. You will achieve it. I am divine, take that idea and work on it. You will achieve it. So this is how this shloka was very, very powerful, and I wanted to share that with you. The next shloka is 7.3. In a similar tone of ocean, the analogy of the ocean, he says, Mayananta Maham Bodhau Vishwam Nama Vikalpana Atishanto Nirakara Etadeva Hamastitaha. He says, Mayananta Maham Bodhau, I am the great ocean, the big infinite ocean. Vishwam Nama Vikalpana, namesake, illusory, imaginary is this world in me. It does not exist, like reflections in the waters do not really exist, but they appear to exist. Like that is only a vikalpana, it is only a thought, it is only a virtual projection, a mental illusion. It is not real. Atishanto Nirakara, I am Atishantaha, I am absolutely peaceful. I always say Shanti, but then there is a Ashanti, means there is peace and there is lack of peace. But beyond the two is Prashanti, which is neither peace nor not peace. In the sense, it is beyond the duality of being peaceful or not being peaceful. It is a state of steadiness. So I have that Ati Shantaha. I am not just Shanta, I am Ati Shanta now. Nirakara. I have no akara, no shape, form, name. Just now I said Rupa Nama is no more my attributes. I don't identify with them. Etad eva aham. This is what I am. In this feeling, astitaha, I am established. That though there is ocean, there is a lot of turbulence going on, lot of things are happening, there are ships moving, everything, but I consider all that as just projections of the mind. Like in the story we just now heard, everything is a projection of the nurse's mind, the nanny who is telling the story. Like that, this whole world is the projection of our mind. See, in our family also, everybody looks at the world differently, relationships differently. For somebody who is a father, he would invest in the son, thinking, oh, this son is my world, he will grow up and look after me and take care of me. At the same time, he has his own father who is sick and old and needs help. He does not want to invest in his father's health because he is a spent force. Now, what will I gain out of it? Let me put my money in my son. The father who is sick and old, when he looks at his son, he thinks, oh, this is the fellow I raised all this while with all my sacrifice, and today this is what I get in return. The wife looks at the whole situation differently. Oh, my father-in-law is a burden. But she does not feel the burden of her son and husband or her own father. But husband's father is a burden. Why? Because this is not my relation. Everybody looks at the world differently. They have their own perspective. For somebody, like a child, the world is an exciting play field. He wakes up every day to play, that's all. He doesn't know what is money, what is richness, what is poverty. He just plays. He sees the world differently. A growing up young, ambitious man or a woman looks at the world as a competition. Cutthroat. You must get ahead of people. Somehow you have to manage to win the race. His vision of the world is different. A rich man looks at the world different. He looks at luxury and comforts and conveniences. A poor man looks at the world as a miserable place, a hell. A politician looks world full of opportunities to become powerful. So also a jnani looks at the world as an illusion. So everybody has a world of their own in the world that we exist in. We all live in our own little worlds in the big world that exists. This world is our imagination. This is our perspective. This is our opinion. This is our understanding. So that is why it's saying that everybody looks at the same thing differently. Each of them have their own world. And each world is real for them. As real as it is for you. But none of the rest, all these are imaginations only. They are mental projections only. Because of our interests and our inclinations, we create a world around us. And when we create the world, we create the people also in the world. Like, birds of the same feather. They will become part of your world because you only want to deal with them. Like in our hostels also, we have many hostels. People who are from south, they make a hostel of their own. They only talk to each other. People from north make a hostel of their own. They only talk to each other. In south also, Malayalis will talk to Malayalis, Telugus will talk to Telugus, Kannadigas another gang, and Tamil Brahmins the biggest gang. They are very strong. Like that, there north you say Biharis will become one group, Gujaratis will become another, Bhaiyas of UP will become another group, Marathis will become. I have seen that. So there is a big hostel, but in that there are so many hostels existing. Why? Because these are people of their own nature. They have their own understanding of what they like, what they don't like, what they want to talk about, what they don't want to talk about, whom they want to talk with, whom they do not want to talk with, whom they want to work with, whom they want to avoid. They have their own way. Like in an organization also it happens. Groups form very quickly. Birds of the same feather become a group, and then groupism starts, then us versus them starts. So also in the world, communities become against communities, countries against countries. So everybody sees the world differently because they have their own inclination, ideas, and perspectives. And that is the reason for all the conflict. So he says, all these imagination at the end. I don't believe in these differences. I don't believe in these projections. I believe in the consciousness, which is what I feel I am. And I am established, Astitaha, I am established in that. I am Nirakara, I am Atishanta, nothing disturbs me, nothing bothers me. And all these modifications that are happening on the surface, all the activity, it is not affecting me because I have established myself in the perfect state of self. The fourth shloka, Natma bhaveshu no bhavaha tatra nante niranjane itya saktospraha shantaha eta deva hams astitaha. It says, not Atma, self bhaveshu. This self is not an object to be attained. That is one way of looking at it. Or the self need not attain any objects of the world. It is full by itself. No bhavaha. Nor the existence of this self is separate. The idea is that you think that self is an object to be attained, or that is not true. Or there are objects outside the self also is not true. Because there is only self. There is nothing else other than that. Gold alone is there. Bangles are not different from gold. Bangle is not an object to be attained by gold. Or bangle does not exist separate from gold. These both ideas he is conveying. One, that bangle is not something that has to be attained by gold because bangle is gold. Second, that the idea that bangle exists as separate from gold also is not true. It is gold only at the end. The separation is the confusion. And in the self, within me, how it is? Anante niranjane. It is endless, it is infinite, and niranjana, it is pure, without any blemish. It is pure and blemishless reality that I am. All this objectifying it or creating it as a separate thing which can become finite is an illusion. I am infinite. When you think of an object, it has finiteness to it. Right? It will start somewhere, it will exist for some time, and it will disappear after some time. But I am that infinite consciousness. I am not this object world which has a beginning, middle, and the end. I am endless. And also the world is impure because there are pure things and impure things in the world. But I am always pure, niranjana. Iti asakto aspraha shantaha. He says, I have three qualities. Asaktaha, I am unattached. Then aspraha, I am desireless. I have no desire. And shantaha, I am absolutely peaceful. Etad eva aham. This is what I am, astitaha, established in. I am established in this idea that I am the absolute peaceful, desireless, unattached self. It has no desire to attain anything, including attaining itself. It's like I am desiring for myself, making myself an object of desire. It doesn't exist. How can you desire to be self? You are the self. Like a man says, I want to be a man. He says, you are already a man. You want to be a husband? Then you have to marry somebody. You want to be a father? Then you have to have a child. You want to be a teacher? You have to get a job of a teacher. But being man, you already are that. You can't ask yourself to be a man. So vikaras of husband, father, teacher, that can happen in the world outside. But the essence is what? You are always what you are. To attain yourself, you don't have to become anything. You don't have to do anything. For the whole life, whole spiritual sadhana is about undoing, not doing. All that we have done wrongly, we have to undo it now. Our wrong identification. There is nothing to be done to attain yourself. You already are that. How can you attain yourself? It's like somebody coming and saying, I am searching for myself. You'll say, you are that. What are you searching for? You are that. So the idea is that searching for self or attaining self as a thing outside me, it doesn't exist as an idea to me. What are you telling me to attain that or achieve that or merge there or do there? Everything is me. There's nothing to do here. That's why I said yesterday, doing is not the way of spirituality. Being is the way of spirituality. The idea of doing itself is illusion, which takes so many people into so many confusing ways. I'll do this worship, I'll do that puja, I'll do that meditation, I'll go here, I'll go to pilgrimage. They become so rigid about it. Doing is not the reason. Being is the reason why we have to be on the spiritual path. So he says, I'm already being that. I have desire, no attachment, and I'm absolutely peaceful. I'm infinite. I'm not limited by the world and the objects that appear in the world, in my consciousness. None of this define me, limit me. I'm the self. So where is the question of me trying to achieve anything? I'm already that. He's so established. Imagine the conviction with which Janaka is speaking. That is amazing. It's the delight of any guru to have a disciple like this who picks us up so fast and understands and is able to explain it. The fifth shloka, I think that must be the last shloka of this chapter. It says, Aho chinmatramevaham indrajalopamam jagat ato mama katham kutra heyo padeya kalpana. Again he replies that, Aho, what a wonder that chinmatram eva aham. I am the self which is aware. I am awareness alone. I have nothing else, no other qualities. I am awareness of everything. And everything else is indrajalopamam. And the world, Jagat, is like the magic show. Indrajala is magic show. So world is like a magic show, but I am very aware that this is magic show. I am the awareness that knows that this is magic show. So, ato, therefore, mama katham kutra, for me, where and how? Heyo padeya kalpana, can there be an imagination of heya or upadeya, means to receive or to reject? To accept or reject, where is the question? You go to a magic show. The magician does lot of tricks. He pulls out money out of his hat. Do you develop a desire to get that money? Only if you're a fool, you will think, oh, that is real dollars falling from the hat. They'll jump and pounce and try to collect it. The real knowledge one who is awareness, who knows, we will not move from his seat. Because he knows this is fake. This is not real money. But some kids will get excited, they'll jump up and down to collect those. That is the idea. I am awareness. I can see through the falsity of this world, through the illusion of the world, like a knowledgeable person can see through the magic tricks. So I am not affected by these magician's tricks. Although it is very attractive, very entertaining. But I know it is magic trick, it is not real. It is a trick. Likewise, I see the world as an illusion, as a magic show, and I don't get entangled into it because I am very awareness. So I know, I have the knowledge of that self. So I know it is not true. So for such a person as me, you are telling this layam vraja, that layam vraja, be like this, be like that. Where is the question of me to do anything? Where is the question of me to accept or reject anything? Because I am everything. So if I reject, I have to reject myself. I accept, I have to accept myself. Nobody does that. So he has got so firmly established that he has completely convinced that all the world is nothing but a magic show, an illusion, an apparition, some kind of a projection. But the self, the awareness, Chit, which is no disturbances, no modifications, no attachments, and no desires, is absolutely peaceful and equal in all situations. This is what I truly am. And everything else is not me. It is only an illusion. So I don't want to run behind illusions. Till I did not know, I was running behind these illusions out of ignorance. But now that I know, I have no more desire to either accept or reject the world. See, some people who attain some spiritual thing, they say, we have to reject the world. Let us run away from the world. Let us drop all these duties, responsibilities. After all this illusion, what are you going to achieve? Why are you running hospitals? Why are you running schools? Why are you taking so much of pressure and tension? Let us go off to some cave, Himalayas, sit secluded alone. That is the idea of rejecting the world. What is accepting the world? Oh, the world is such a beautiful place. Let us enjoy everything. There is so much here to enjoy and entertain ourselves with. We have to earn money. We have to go there. We have to see that. We have to be there. All these ideas. That is acceptance of the world. Now, for a jnani, both do not exist. That let us go jump in and enjoy. Or let us run away. Both do not exist for a jnani. As it comes, wabi sabi, he deals with it. Okay, today work has come, we'll do the work. Tomorrow rest has come, we'll rest. Day after entertainment has come, let us enjoy. Next day misery has come, let us deal with it. It just goes with the flow. Does not have this idea that it has to be this way, it cannot be another way. That thought does not exist in a jnani. For jnani, everything is okay. I see it all as a Indrajala, as a magic show, as a movie, where none of the characters are real. They don't exist. But nevertheless, they make us emote and react. Look at the power of the world. It makes us react to it. It makes us behave the way it wants us to behave. It sucks us into it. It pulls us into it. As if we are not willing, yet it pulls. Anichanapi Vashneya, Baladiva Niyojita. It pulls us in. It is so powerful, the grip of that world on the mind. So, how can one be still go to a movie theater, enjoy the movie, and yet not be affected by the emotions? By never forgetting that it is a movie. The moment you forget it is a movie and start thinking the characters are real and everybody is real and all the emotions are real, you get involved. But when you don't forget that it is a movie, you will watch it nevertheless. You'll say very good acting, very well presented, good choreography, good cinematography, good dialogues, nice costumes. And you'll come back with appreciation of the director and the producer and the actors. That's all will happen. You don't emote and react and cry and laugh. You just do it for the moment. You don't carry it with you afterwards. So that who can do? Only a jnani. When kids go for a movie, they get excited. They start believing those characters are real. And I've seen the kids, they model themselves around those characters. They want to buy Superman dresses and wear it and feel good. Because they start believing in those characters. Only when they grow up, they realize these were just characters. There was never a Superman who's going to come and save the world. There is never a Spider-Man who will go from rooftop to rooftop. These are all imaginations. But when they come back, they're so excited. So the idea is that, like children get excited seeing movies and magic shows, if we also get excited and start emoting because of the world around us, then we are also just children. We have not matured in our spirituality. We are kids. And that is the idea. So if you have, next time you react to a situation, you get emotionally involved. You get disturbed in your peace. You start swinging from this end to that end, from joy to sorrow. Next time you think these people are ours and those are not ours. Next time you hate somebody or love somebody too much. Next time you think this is a loss and that is a gain. Next time you think this is a praise, that is a blame, I will call you a child who is watching the movie and reacting. Next time you do that, remember these words of mine. That in my eyes, you are uneducated, immature, ignorant children. I could have called fools, but then you are learning, so I will call you still children. That's what I would think. Next time I see a reaction, I am going to look at it this way only. Look at how they're reacting, how they're getting emotionally involved, how they're getting excited and dejected, how they're getting proud and depressed, how they're getting anxious, or how they say that I'm peaceful. Both ways I will see you as children, immature. You really don't know what you're saying. You don't understand it. So that is how the Jnani would look at the world. Now what is the Jnani's role then? Jnani's role is to help the others understand this is how it works. He has to show you the magic trick behind all the illusions. Then you also know it's a magic trick. Like every father wants the child to grow, right? Every father teaches the child, sends to school. Why? He knows that that is how the child should learn and grow and deal with his own life. I can't be after him and looking after him all the way. The child has to be on his own. That is what gurus are doing. They're teaching us the knowledge so that we are on our own. We don't need somebody to every time console us. Child, a loss happens, let us say he broke his favorite toy. He'll cry tears. Mother will say, you're so sorry, we'll get you another toy, don't cry. That time a mother will do. When the same child grows up and if he still cries on the toy, what is mother will do? Give one slap. Saying, why are you behaving like a kid? Grow up. That's what I have to do. All this while I patted your bags, consoled you, wiped your tears, said, yo papa, you lost this, you gained this, patted, gemmed, joy. All that is over. Now if you behave like this, you will get a shot. Why? Because how long? When will you grow up? How long you are going to cry about these small losses in life? Or how long are you going to go on getting excited about small gains and profits? How long are you going to go on emoting to people's reactions? How long are you going to get involved in this world and its worldly affairs? When will you grow up and come out of it? Why I am teaching you at all if you don't want to grow? That's what my parents would say. Grow up. That's what I am telling. That's what Ashtavakra is telling. Everybody, all these scriptures are screaming. Grow up, grow up, grow up. Uttishtata, Jagrata, Prapyavaran Nibodhata. Rise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. Surasya Dhara Nishita Duratya. Of course, this path is like walking on razor's edge, which the great ones have said. So be careful. Be careful when you're walking. Remind yourself who you are and then walk this path. Then you will not get hurt or cut. But the moment you forget who you are, then you will get into all these pluses and minuses of life, and then you will suffer. So do not suffer by remembering who you are and applying that idea in the next situation that you are in. Apply it. If you don't apply the knowledge, it will never become useful. Bhagavan used to always say, knowledge should turn into skill. Do not kill knowledge, but skill knowledge, he would say. What is killing the knowledge? Practicing knowledge is killing the knowledge. Not practicing is killing the knowledge. It will go away after some time, it will leave your head. But if you make it a part of your life by practicing, you have skilled the knowledge, you have mastered it, now it has become yours. It is no more borrowed knowledge from the books. It is your own. Once it becomes your own, then you will never be fooled, never be confused, never be distracted. So when next situation comes, please apply these things. Maybe you will not always succeed at applying it completely. But even a little knowledge, salpamapyasya dharmasya, little knowledge of this will give you courage to deal with it correctly. Will give you the right insights, will give you the right understanding. That itself is half the problem solved. You may still make mistakes, which is fine, as long as you're walking. Some ups and downs will come, but you take it in your stride and keep at it.